that's fatal.
2K has revealed the complete WWE 2K23 roster, and I know you're probably thinking, wait, what do you mean 2K released the roster? I didn't see any roster reveal video or anything like that, no roster reveal live stream. They didn't do anything like that. They actually just slapped it on their website, the full list, all text, names only, that is it. No photos, nothing. So in today's video, I'm going to go through the list of all the new superstars that are making their way into WWE 2K23, all the outdated superstars, the name changes, as well as who can we expect to be DLC for WWE 2K23. Let's hop into it. So 2K released a complete roster on wwe.2k.com/2k23 right here. WWE 2K23 roster, you press learn more, boom, complete list of the roster pops up, and it's all text. You're better off going to SmackDown Hotel so you can actually see their faces and it looks more like legit, right? Like, it looks better. WWE 2K22 ended off with 228 superstars at the end of the game cycle, and WWE 2K23 is starting off with 187 superstars. So there's still plenty of space for DLC, plenty of space for added superstars. And the WWE 2K developers have said that this game is going to be bigger than WWE 2K22. So if WWE 2K22 ended off at 228 superstars, it's safe to say that we're going to have more superstars in WWE 2K23. So with all the DLC packs, we're definitely going to have a larger roster than WWE 2K22. Now, I'm not going to go through the complete roster list. I'll just link it in the description for you to go through yourself. So when it comes to new superstars we're getting Aaliyah. Even though Aaliyah said she wasn't going to be in the game. Remember when she tweeted that out? Oh no, I'm not in the game, right? And she deleted the tweet. And everyone was like, oh my god, Aaliyah said she wasn't in the game. Listen, whenever you ask a superstar if they're going to be in the game, they're always going to say no. They have to say no. They can't spoil it, okay? So when Aaliyah said no and she deleted the tweet, she probably got in trouble for it, so she had to delete the tweet. But it's all good, she is in WWE 2K23. This will be her WWE 2K debut. Next up, we have Bad Bunny, who is a pre-order bonus. We all knew about that, making his WWE 2K debut as well. Next, we have one half of the Bella Twins, Brie Bella. WWE 2K released their entrances, so we knew they were going to be in the game. Their last appearance was WWE 2K20. We have Braun Breaker making his WWE 2K debut. Bruno Sammartino is one of the legends that is returning in WWE 2K22. His last WWE 2K appearance was WWE 2K14. Brutus Creed is making his WWE 2K debut. Carmelo Hayes is making his WWE 2K debut. As we know, Cody Rhodes will be in WWE 2K23. His last appearance was WWE 2K17 as Stardust, but his last appearance as Cody Rhodes was actually WWE 2K15. So it's been quite a while since we've had Cody Rhodes in the game. Cora Jade is making her WWE 2K debut. Ezekiel's making his WWE 2K debut. Now, the cool thing about Ezekiel is that both Ezekiel and Elias will be in the game. So we have Elias and Ezekiel, as it should be, because they are brothers and they are different people. So I'm glad they're both in the game. Gigi Dolan is making her WWE 2K debut. Grayson Waller is making his WWE 2K debut. JC Jane is making her WWE 2K debut. Julius Creed is making his debut. Hayden Carter is making her debut. As we know by the screenshots and the showcase trailer, Kurt Angle is returning to WWE 2K23. His last appearance was WWE 2K20, and that model was a little rough. Lita is returning in WWE 2K23. Her last appearance was 2K20. Madcap Moss is making his debut. Molly Holly is returning to WWE 2K23. Her last appearance was WWE 2K20. Of course, Nikki Bella is also in WWE 2K23 making a return. Nikita Lyons is making her debut in WWE 2K23. Noam Dar is returning in WWE 2K23, his last game being WWE 2K20. Queen Zelina is finally returning in WWE 2K23. Her last appearance was WWE 2K20. Reggie is making his WWE 2K23 debut. Rich Holland is making their WWE 2K23 debut. Roxanne Perez is making her WWE 2K23 debut. Scarlett is returning in WWE 2K23, but now she's a playable character rather than being a manager. Shanky is making his WWE 2K23 debut. Solo Sikoa is making his WWE 2K23 debut, and I cannot wait to play Solo Sikoa. He's definitely going to be a champion in my game. Veer Mahaan is making his WWE 2K23 debut, and Zoe Stark is making her WWE 2K23 debut. So we currently have 31 new superstars that were not in WWE 2K22. And there's of course a lot of superstars here that sort of didn't make the cut. Where's Bray Wyatt? You know what I mean? Bray Wyatt is going to be an obvious DLC. Unfortunately, Bray Wyatt didn't make the cut. Where's Hit Row? Where's BFAB? Where's Ashanti? Where's Top Dollar? Where's the OC? So a lot of these superstars that didn't make the cut, and like the 2K developers said, you might notice that there's omissions from the roster, but don't worry, they will most likely be DLC. So if there's returning superstars like Bray Wyatt that didn't make the cut, they are most likely going to be in a DLC pack. Unfortunately, we will have to wait for DLC for those superstars. Now let's go through the list and see who's updated, who's outdated, and who got their name change. Alba Fire is updated. She is no longer Kaylee Ray. Axiom is in the game and updated, no longer called A-Kid. Butch is updated with his name change, but his look is most likely going to be when he had his hair up in his bun, and not his current Pete Dunne look with the name change Butch. So Butch's name is updated, but his look is outdated. Cruz del Toro got a name change. Dewdrop is outdated. She is still Dewdrop, not Piper Niven, which makes sense because she debuted Piper Niven at the recent Royal Rumble, so that makes complete sense. Giovanni is updated and no longer called Fabian. Gunther is updated and no longer called Walter. Happy Corbin is completely outdated. Matter of fact, what happened with JBL? He's anything but happy. Io Sky is updated with her name, Io Sky. Now, although this website, the SmackDown Hotel, has Mace and Mansoor, their images are Massey and Mansoor. Because we don't know how they look like and their names were listed as Mace and Mansoor, I'm just going to assume that Mace and Mansoor are actually outdated and they are not Massey and Mansoor. But I could be wrong by that. We won't know until I actually see them in-game. Nikki ASH is unfortunately outdated. She is not Nikki Cross. But if you remember in WWE 2K22, Nikki Cross was also not in the game, but she was in My Rise, and then eventually she was put on the main roster. These superstars right here were in the game in My Rise, and What's the Status uploaded their models on the Community Creations as playable character, and then 2K eventually, they caved in on patch 1.12 and put them in the base roster as playable. So just because we don't have Nikki Cross in the main roster, that doesn't mean she's not in My Rise, and if she is in My Rise, What's the Status can just upload her model again to the Community Creations. Also, another reason why I think Mace is not Massey is because Dominik Dijakovic is also not in the main roster. Instead, T-Bar is, which means Dominic is also updated. But like I said with the 2K22 roster, T-Bar was in the main roster and Dominik Dijakovic wasn't. But Dominik Dijakovic was in My Rise. And then they eventually put his model in the base game. Which means Dominik Dijakovic could still be in My Rise somewhere. And his model could still be in the game, just not on the official roster. But people like What's the Status will just upload his model for us to download, if available. Queen Zelina is outdated, and I'm assuming because she's called Queen Zelina, her model is also going to be outdated. When it comes to Reggie, even though he's outdated, he's not called Scripps. I'm actually okay with this one. I much rather Reggie over Scripps because with Reggie, I can give him the Scripps attire. But if it was Scripps instead of Reggie, I'm pretty sure they would have blocked me from removing his mask. So with Reggie, I get the best of both worlds. I can create two superstars. But with Scripps, I cannot create Reggie. So I'm actually okay with this one. Like I said earlier, T-Bar is outdated. He is not called Dominik Dijakovic. Another thing that sucks is that Mia Yim didn't make it into the base game, not even as Reckoning. So Mia Yim is just completely removed from the base game. And that right there is everyone that is updated or outdated when it comes to WWE 2K23. We won't know if their models are updated or outdated yet until we see their photos. I will make another video going through which models are updated and outdated. And to end the video off, like I said, just because they are not on the main roster, their model can still be somewhere in the game. They're just not playable, but they will be playable because What's the Status will just upload their model on the Community Creations for us to download. As you know, during My Rise, we always go through the Performance Center and there's always a Performance Center coach there, whether it being Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, Matt Bloom. One of those superstars are the Performance Center coaches, and they always have their older updated model. But with the exception of Old Man Shawn Michaels, which was added in the base game later on, those models are usually not playable. So we already have some new models that are not on the main roster, for example. An updated Road Dogg, an updated Shawn Michaels. If Matt Bloom is one of the coaches, Matt Bloom is not even on the main roster, so that would have been someone excluded from the roster. That What's the Status would have to put on the Community Creations for us to download the model, right? So there's plenty of models in My Rise that are not on the main roster that will be available to download when the game comes out, once What's the Status does this thing, and you'll see how much superstars were excluded from the main roster that are still in the game. A great example is if you go to the WWE 2K22 SmackDown Hotel roster list, you'll have a section here called Alt Characters. Every single one of these characters on this list here were added to the Community Creations either from My Rise or My Faction. So just look at this list right here. Look how big this list. All of these superstars were in WWE 2K22, but were not playable in the main roster, unless you downloaded them because of someone like What's the Status. So it's safe to assume that WWE 2K23 is going to have an extensive list like this of different variation of superstars, as well as just hidden superstars that weren't playable. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. That is the full WWE 2K23 roster list as of now. What do you think about it? Who are you disappointed about that didn't make it into the game? For me, it's Bray Wyatt, but I know Bray Wyatt's going to be DLC. That's just a given. Be sure to give the video a like, subscribe, notifications on, and I'll catch you next video. Fiddle Steven out. Peace.